Hello and welcome to Create the Flow. I'm Monica Freeman, host and founder of Monica Freeman Studios and Unewell. I am here to guide you in aligning with your soul's purpose, trusting your inner voice, and building a life that you truly love. You were born with a purpose, and your intuition already knows the way. Hello, my love. Welcome to the show. Today's episode is so good because this is going to help you tremendously in your business. Now, this episode is all about strategy. So if you have the time and you're sitting down at home or somewhere where you're not driving or walking or on the go, I would grab a pen and paper so you can take notes or be prepared to listen to this episode twice. This episode is all about your core 3 brand pillars versus your connection points. A lot of people confuse these, and I've been seeing it recently in multiple client calls, and I thought this is a perfect time to touch on this because I have not talked about it in so long. You all know that messaging is sort of at the core of everything I do. Your messaging has to be so crystal clear in order to really attract those dream clients, because you have to position yourself in the market as the expert with the solution that they need from your unique value proposition. I'm going to give you an example by using myself as an example because you all know me and what I teach, and that might make it a little bit easier. But obviously change these examples and apply the things that are actually relevant to your business. The very first thing I want you to do is identify what your 3 core pillars are. When you're thinking about your brand pillars, these are the things that every single thing runs through in your business. So every piece of content, every single course or product or anything that you're creating, because this is what your brand is all about. You base these things based on your business. So for instance, my 3 core pillars are, number 1 is identity in business. And that is specifically is my human design for business and also astrology, as I'm going to be positioning it more on the podcast, but mostly right now that's just integrated behind the scenes in my courses. If you have ever purchased a course from me, then you're familiar with this. But I have the identity being one of my core pillars because in order for you to really understand your business, you have to identify who you really are to your core, like how you are designed to work, how you are designed to make decisions, how you are best meant to create content so that you don't burn out, how you're meant to structure your offers or build your products or scale. So all of these things are so valuable, and that is a very, very, very important one of my core 3. My second pillar is shadow work. The shadow work that I do is specifically limiting beliefs. So those fears, those doubts, those worries, those subconscious beliefs that really dysregulate your nervous system and keep you locked into analysis paralysis, procrastination, that fear of moving forward, of being seen, that survival energy, that stuck feeling. I really value nervous system regulation and really reprogramming that mental stability because you need mental stamina to run your business. You need to be healed on the inside in order to really scale, to be able to hold the kind of businesses that you want and to make money. So for me, that is crucial to my business. And the third one is aligned strategy. Anybody can teach you any blueprint. You can go on ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or any LLM and learn any strategy. You can literally ask Google anything. But the problem is not every single strategy is meant for you. So I specifically teach aligned strategy through understanding your identity and your shadow work and who you are and what your unique business model is. So for me, I've got clients that are in the wellness space. I've got clients that are in the mindset space. I've got clients that are in fashion. I've got lifestyle clients. I've got nonprofit clients. I have fitness clients, which I guess kind of is in the wellness space, but my other wellness clients are not in fitness. They're more into nutrition and health. I have so many different types of clients that it's really important to make sure that clients all have their own unique advantage, their own unique edge. And I do that through my core 3. What I want you to do is really get clear on the top 3 things that are the core essence of your brand. And a really easy way to streamline this is to start thinking about the transformation that you offer and start thinking about what is truly authentically aligned with you. Like, what have you lived? What have you experienced? What have you walked through? What do you teach? What do you show that's uniquely different? So if you were teaching, let's say you have a coaching course, or maybe you're in one-on-one containers and you're trying to sell that, what makes your client, that dream client's experience, uniquely different if they work with you? What do they get? What's the transformation they get from you that they wouldn't get from another brand? What are those 3 core things that you really have integrated into your business to stand out, to be different than your competitors? It's really important to have these 3 things because we can get so scattered in our messaging if we don't have not only a through line that really shows your dream client what you do, so the transformation that they get, specifically how you do it, but also if our messaging doesn't funnel through these 3 pillars. Because when you start talking about every single thing in your business, because most people have more than 3 pillars behind the scenes, when you pull the curtain back and somebody starts to work with you, they might learn that you do this and that and all these other things. It's like if you're a wellness coach, you may teach people how to lose 10 pounds, but you might do that through different areas. You might help them regulate their nervous system so that they can feel safe with whatever limiting beliefs that they have. You might help them heal that shadow work. You might also help them create a nutrition plan based on their body type that is in alignment with who they are as a person and what they're capable of doing with the time that they have. If they have any specific dietary restrictions, if they're female or male, if they're within a certain weight, or whatever it is specifically that you do. So really understanding your core 3 is valuable, and it's going to help you so much because it gives you so much clarity in what you should be speaking to every day. And I go deep into this in Magnetic Branding Foundation. This is my signature program. And in Magnetic Branding Foundation, we build the foundation for legacy, for sustainability, for holistic businesses, because I don't believe in just creating a business that you haven't really thought about. This is like your blueprint to life, because we really dive into not only who you are uniquely as a brand, but your authentic, unique value proposition to stand apart in the market, and who you are in your human design chart so that you really understand that, and how you work best, and how you can create without burnout, and how you can show up online with a legacy brand that stands out and sells. So this is a really powerful course that I put a lot of attention to detail in. Honestly, it's one of my best products that I've ever had because it's gotten so many people a transformation, and we dive deeper, like I said, into the core 3. And then once you know your core 3, then you want to move into your connection points. Think of your connection points like the top 3 to 5 things about you that are unique to you. I talk a lot about yoga and Pilates on this podcast because that is a common thread between me and my target audience. My target audience is also somebody who wants to regulate their nervous system, who is healthy, who really applies themselves in and outside of business. And this is one way of doing that. So if you know me, then you know that that's something I do. Now, I'm not speaking about yoga and Pilates from the perspective of wellness and getting in shape and how to live your fit, healthiest life. For me, it's all about regulation, giving me energy, staying aligned with myself, and embodying my best self in business. So I lean into that a lot. You guys also know that I have a dog. I talk about Gatsby all the time. And that is, it's like if you were a mom. It's not necessarily that you would talk about, if your niche is not about moms specifically, you wouldn't necessarily speak about moms and how to become a mom and how to be the best mom or anything in the niche of mom. But maybe that's a common thread. Maybe that's a connection point that you have with your target audience. So every once in a while, showing you as a mom and your backstory and how that basically helped you become the embodiment of the coach or the leader or the personality that you are online now is a connection point. These connection points are really important because this is what's going to help people connect to you as the human behind the brand. They're going to buy from you because they connected through these connection points and trusted you because of the authority in your core 3. So another thing is, I talk about healing limiting beliefs all the time and my patterns, and I talk about really having that area of wellness, because that is something that I'm extremely passionate about. I went through my own dark night of the soul. I had that 2-year sabbatical. I really had to heal, and I had to work through that shadow work. So even though that is a core pillar of mine, and that is one of my core 3, I walk you guys behind the scenes sometimes of what I had to do to get there, what my life experience has been, whether it's me learning how to meditate and me learning different modalities and me resetting my gut and doing a gut cleanse and healing and all of the tools that I have used. It's not necessarily because I'm trying to market that specifically, but that is a connection point, because chances are not only are you connecting with your audience through the things that are authentic to you, but you are also meeting them where they are at in real time in their journey. I may have learned how to regulate my nervous system, but somebody listening to this right now may be in the thick of it, maybe in the middle where they are trying to get through burnout and regulate their nervous system. And they really want to be successful and they want to be an entrepreneur, but they don't know how to do that. So me talking about a connection point through one of my core pillars is a great way for us to connect. I also talk a lot about human design. You guys know that I love storytelling. If you follow me on social media, then you know I love aesthetic content and storytelling, that I'm a videographer, and I incorporate all of that into my business. I talk about a lot of things. Sometimes when I get on here, I'll tell you that I'm having a coffee. Let's sit down and chat. You know I love coffee. I'm a huge espresso drinker. So all of these little things are ways for us to connect through these connection points that are authentic, they're aligned, they are natural things, whether that's me saying that I like to travel or I'm reading a book or whatever it is. You might listen to another podcaster who is a mom or a dad or somebody who is an avid runner or somebody who has children or somebody who's building a house, all these little things that connect you to your audience. I was listening to a podcaster the other day who was talking about how they love Stranger Things, and that is specific to that person. That gives you a little connection point, like the kind of content that they like to watch when they're not working and what they're interested in and what, that genre and those themes are. So it really does help us connect with the person and not just the brand. So make a list of your connection points, and you can write out, as many as you want, but then I want you to highlight the ones that feel applicable to you in the most authentic way that they funnel into your business. For instance, I'm not going to take you behind the scenes with me on a shopping spree and show you all the clothes that I'm buying for a wedding that I'm going to go to, because that's not important. That has nothing to do with me helping you build a legacy brand that scales with ease. So I'm not going to take you on a journey with me to buy clothing. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not painfully obsessed with fashion, because I have a degree in fashion design and I love fashion, but that's not what my business is about. I think that's really what I'm trying to get you to see is find the common thread between you and your target audience that you feel like is a connection point. And as I mentioned, yoga and Pilates fits perfectly into nervous system regulation, which is one of my core 3. So get that clarity in your business, because when you do that, you can start to position yourself as the authority and as the trusted expert in your space. When you start creating this, try to imagine a visual map, since this is audio, but just picture your connection points kind of at the top, and then you have them outlined, and then picture down below, you have your pillars. If you think about this as like, let's say your northern hemisphere and your southern hemisphere, and in between there's a bridge, and that bridge is kind of like your storytelling. So you're using these connection points to tell a story through your core 3. It really makes your content so much easier and more authentic to create. And now that we're moving in a time where people want this personal connection, where we want truth, we want more story, we want more about you and the brand and authenticity, this is a perfect way to build that connection and tie everything together. I hope this really clarified the difference between having core pillars that you speak to every day versus your connection points that's all about you and your unique personality, but without having to be like, me, look at me. It's kind of just like woven in this like very intricate way where you have these little subtle nuances that just feel like part of the story. I think this gets easier if you really, really have a solid, unique value proposition and you know exactly who you serve and how you serve them. So when you are creating your 3 pillars and really getting clear about how you serve your audience and how you're going to incorporate your connection points, really use your through line to kind of bring clarity into that in your market so you can stand apart from every single person and you could build a business that loves you, that feels good to you with ease. I hope using me as an example, because I think you guys know me and my business model pretty well by now, that this gave you a little deeper understanding of how you could build clarity in your messaging in the most simplified way and speak directly to your consumer without having to overthink your strategy and be on social media and confused about what messaging to show up with. So I love you, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you'd like more information, you can follow along on Instagram at Create the Flow Podcast or find me personally at Monica Freeman. And if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to leave a review and share it with a friend.